from Toronto. Hello. Good
Morning, guys. Morning.
Sorry we're late.
Yep. Sorry, we had a little last-minute emergency. We kind of preempted that you guys would want us to hit 921 irons next to our featured guest.
Yes, featured
today.
guests
Brand
with an
new.
S. There they are.
Yep.
Oh, actually, there they are.
Very handsome that they are.
Oh, cheeky.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's probably one of the
Most anticipated?
most anticipated, but not much of a secret anymore. If
It
you
hasn't
have-
been a secret for quite some time.
If you have been looking and you do pay attention,
Yeah.
then you'll have seen these have been out in other markets for a little while.
The UK and Asia would have seen them ages
You
ago.
would have had them first. Obviously, just embargoes in North America as product cycles flow. We have slightly different embargoes over here. It wasn't that we were holding anything back. So many people, I think, thought that we were just choosing not to do the review. Wasn't the case at all.
No. We're chomping
Not
at the bit.
at all.
Chomping at the bit. What are your first impressions? I know you've already had them 3 months ago, but what do you think?
I mean,
Happy with the look of them?
yeah, I love them. They are very much a throwback to the iconic first ever Srixon iron that I ever hit, which was the 745.
Right.
Which actually I still don't think enough people really know how good that iron was.
Unless you played them, I don't think.
Yeah.
You
That
would?
was Srixon's first entry into the market, and sort of as a result, very few people gave them a chance.
Right.
And I remember at the time we were fitting with it, going, "These are unbelievable.
Really?
This is a shift in sort of iron performance."
What
right
year
here.
was that when that came out?
2014.
Oh wow, okay, so it wasn't that long ago.
Wasn't that long ago, and then probably the 765, which Srixon themselves will probably tell you was their least favourite.
Really?
They benefited from how good the 745 was because enough buzz had been generated, enough people were talking about Srixon as an iron.
Right.
They gained some momentum. 785 or the 85 range was great. Last year's range we loved.
Okay.
I thought it was fantastic. And this is really the culmination of the last 6 years' work.
Wow.
So you've kind of got the width of the 785 or the 85 sole with the design of the 45 sole,
Okay.
which is really, and there's a few other subtle things that we'll chat about along the way as well.
I wanted to ask you about one thing just as we get started with related to the sole design. So I hope people can see this. If you look at the bottom,
Yeah.
there's basically, this is
Notches.
raised. Yeah, this notch here.
Let me see here. Swatsky normally keeps a couple of, he still uses the 745. Sorry guys, I'm just going to just
I'm showing everyone
see if
this
he
here.
still
so
has them.
It looks like a ping notch in the heel, but in
Right,
fact,
so
it's
here
on the
we
toe
are.
also.
So there's a 745. I completely forgot John still played
Oh,
those.
of course.
So look at the notches on
Dirty
those.
old 745.
Right.
Is that there, bud?
So if I look, do you have those 785s, the ones I brought in?
Grab them from Ian's office.
they're
They're right
in my
on
office.
his desk. here.
So you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So that's nice.
Nice, eh?
Yeah.
So you can see that notch quite well
See
on both
those
of them.
notches in the toe and the heel.
Yep. Yeah, right below where it says Srixon on the new ones, you can see a little notch, and then right below or right beside the 6 number on the sole of the new one, you can see that notch there.
So if you can look at the width of the 745 though, that one in your hand, so it's quite wide. So if you can kind of show, I don't know if you can show the width.
This way?
Yeah, if you can.
Sole width?
Yeah.
Luke, do you want to run focus here and I'll do this? Just come and tap the screen for me.
So yeah, there's a sort of pretty good example.
Yeah, there you go.
So it was pretty wide.
This is definitely a lot more narrow. I'm trying to get a good angle, but it's substantial.
And then if you look at the 785, if that's there, you'll see the sort of width of that sole.
Yep. These guys here.
Yeah.
Bear with us, folks. So this is.
So that's the new one, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
A little bit more
certainly
similar.
More similar.
Yeah. Nice.
More similar.
More close-ups for the rest of the day, so don't worry.
So, those as sort of the key features. It's all back to, you guys, we talk so much on the channel about sole design, forgiveness, and where forgiveness is found. And it's not just across the face, it's not in heel-toe strikes, it's very much on how that club gets through the ground. So much of that is your feedback in terms of what you actually experience from the strike. So, yeah, I think Srixon have they're really excited about these, and I think they have great reason to be really excited about them.
It looks great. I'm looking forward to hitting some. So I wouldn't mind 2 minutes just to loosen up. I'll mute my mic if you want to take a couple introductory questions about them, and then we will start testing shortly.
Let's definitely do that.
Maybe you can take this one quick. Why doesn't Srixon Canada sell individual irons?
That's a question for Srixon Canada.
So you can't get 1 or 2?
They sell as individual irons, but I don't know if there's different.
Okay, well then order them through us.
Yeah, you can get them through us.
We'll order you one.
Yeah, no, you can get. You don't have to buy it in sets.
Good. Yeah, grab a few. Just intro. I'm just literally going to loosen my bones up a bit. Mute.
Sounds good, guys. Hope you all had a great weekend. Obviously, Masters weekend, great win for DJ. I think great to see someone like him obviously adding his name to that. So really great to see.
Yeah, I was happy to see him win too.
Yeah, no,
a dominant win, very convincing.
As dominant as they come. Matty, do you want on a different screen here?
If you don't mind, yeah, sure.
I don't know who was in here last. I was playing a wee game. So guys, we're going to run through a bit like what we done when it was the 921 iron launch, wasn't it?
So we'll have hitting station. That's the screen where you see the ball flight. This is the screen where you're going to see close-ups, and then obviously Ian is here for analysis and questions. And we're going to be very on topic this time. I'm mentioning that now because sorry, my mic was off. If you can, keep questions exclusively to Srixon irons for today, and super chats are off, so we'll be very focused on the questions that come in.
You just got your iron, Matty boy?
I'm just going to get a couple irons.
Wad 'em up. Okay, let's see. For those who can't make it to TXG, how does one get fit for a driving iron like the new Srixon? I mean, obviously, any other retailers out there, Timmy, other than the TXGs of the world in the US, I think your best bet of finding a store like this that's available and, you know, not saying this loosely or crudely, but every street corner is Club Champion. I mean, they literally are everywhere right now. So I would imagine they'll have a selection of driving irons you can try, but other than that, you're probably looking at Demo Day is the best bet. Is it? We upgrade. It's amazing. You know, they have fresh turf there. Augusta green.
It is so nice. Can you stick a tee in this for drivers, or is that a stretch?
You can. But
this is lovely.
We've got another wee solution for those.
Oh, is it what I think it is?
Aye. The birdies have landed.
Cannot wait for people to be introduced to the birdie. Well, they'll remember it from
good.
Autoflex return from Mississauga.
Yeah. Interesting. So Matt Whitaker's got the 745s. Couldn't be happier with them.
Oh.
I mean,
lovely.
Those 745s, they've been like a fine wine. They've actually probably held, you know, second-hand value. They're probably worth more now than they were back then. Handicap ranges on the clubs, JP. I mean, usual stuff from Srixon. You know, you'll find the 7s are geared towards, there's PJ Tour players will play them. You'll find probably a pretty handy 12 handicap, pretty well, you know, good 12 handicap with good striking would be able to handle them as well. And then the 5s will could be as low as, you know, a low single digit, 4, 5, all the way up to, you know, 18 to 20. Little bit of a spoiler alert that there's the 5s and the 7s have been obviously what Srixon have stuck with in the past. Maybe expect something else in the near future. Irons.
Oh, really?
Maybe. Who knows? Sneaky. So, derobing, roasted. Let's see. Does Srixon carry? Does TXG carry Srixon woods? We do. We absolutely do. We have the new woods. We're currently testing them. So we fully expect them to be part of the lineup for next year. Yeah.
Won't be long, couple weeks we'll be doing that, I think.
Yep. Let's see. There's Matt again. He's happy with them. Kevin is currently gaming the 765s. Is there any difference from the ZX7? I think for most people who play a 7 series iron, that 765 maybe was a little bit on the large side, footprint wise. I think you'll probably like the sole width has got a little bit narrower. The notches out the heel and toe just for a little improved turf interaction, which is very, very nice. But I think overall the thing for me is just it's a little bit more compact, which looks great. I can't verify where the 765s were made, but I know the new ZX7s were made by Endo, which is the #1 forging house in the world. So that's another major key with this set of irons.
For your softness pleasure.
Yep, for your sweetness and your tolerance.
I hope I didn't just blank everyone out on my mic.
Rochi.
Everything
It's
good?
Okay, so right.
You hear me okay, people? Okay, good.
Some levels.
So I'm going to build up, what would you like to start with? Do you want me to build up the ZX5 here?
You go with the 7. Go with the one you would play.
Okay.
Go with the V7.
Okay.
And guys, we're going to do, like we've done with the Mizuno lineup, you guys will want to know, I'm sure, a bunch of different irons and how they compare to the new Srixon irons. So why don't you send in your requests? We can certainly get Matt to hit some different ones.
They're all
Whatever
here.
he can't hit, I can hit a few. But
Absolutely.
let's see.
Okay.
I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. Our stock shaft's still going to be Nippon Modus. I believe they are, yes. I think they are. Still
99% sure, because I went and took a gander at the website.
Yep.
105s are standard in the one and 120s in the other.
Ryan, what does a pre-worn leading edge do for turf interaction? It slightly delays the entry of the club into the turf.
Nice.
So it will buy you milliseconds just to reach...
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
It's a new record.
Is it new record?
Hello, 1,300 of you.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Most we've ever seen. It's great. I'm pretty sure I've never seen it that high.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it just buys you a fraction of time. So I think sometimes Srixon irons get confused with kind of having a pre-worn leading edge. They really don't. The type of V-sole that is on a Srixon is very, very handy for the player who is sort of medium to steep. So if your low point, for those who are familiar with that TrackMan term, when low point is in front of the golf ball, meaning the club comes in, impact occurs, ball separates, then the divot happens out in front.
Yeah.
This V-sole is unbelievable for kind of getting that club in and out the turf.
There it is.
Phenomenal, right? When you look at an iron, if we look at something, do you have a TC201 there in that top? So if we look at an iron that has pre-wear on the leading edge,
We'll do a little for Luke here.
so you'll see it very differently, guys. Let's see where I'm at
Over
here.
to 4 there for me, laddie.
Okay, so
Just get that in focus. Stand by.
just coming.
Angle's perfect, Luke.
Yeah. So you guys will see that edge is
Nice.
right on the front.
Yeah.
So that's for the shallower to
Perfect
neutral player
Yep,
to buy themselves that fraction of time. Because if you think about it, right, if that leading edge is super sharp and you're shallow to the point where your club bottoms out where the ball is, your chances of digging are high. We don't want that obviously at all, especially if you have a little bit of forward shaftling. So we would rather that leading edge was a little bit blunted just to buy you a little glide time, just so that we can get into impact first.
Just throw a dot on here for you, laddie.
We dot man.
So we know what's happening with the Svingy. Okay. Well, maiden voyage. Here we go.
Max is saying Z or Z?
We're going to say Z because it's faster. I know we're Canadian and it's a Z, but to be honest, it's
okay. So we've got some different requests here. John wants us to compare to T100S. We will definitely do that. MP20. We've got the Mizuno Srixon comparison is a no-brainer. That's the one I'm sure the the people want to see. Stronger lofts are more traditional. Brian, I mean, Srixon have been running with the slightly stronger lofts for a while. There's no doubt about that.
What do I have here, 28?
28 in the Z7. ZX7. Oh boy. That's a pretty handy start there.
It's the first swing ever. So this is ZX7. Yeah, it's nice. It's compact, heel to toe again. I think the top line's gotten a little thicker this year.
To my eye, it was a little bit thicker.
Especially in the heel, I think it's a little thicker than last year.
Yep.
It's not offensive, but it's not as fine as it used to be. The offset's nice though. Looks like fairly low offset. So I'm kind of just chip shotting them to start with, and they're going. Yeah. They're going far. Definitely feeling the stronger loft to start with. Spin's pretty low.
Yep, they're pretty jumpy for you. Now, bearing in mind you've sort of modified your delivery to be suited to a very weak loft this year.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll try to get a little steeper on this. That's better. Let's see what we spin it at when it's a 5 down, 1 end out kind of thing.
Matty boy Dan is asking, what does the offset look like to your eye?
Offset?
Mm-hmm.
What do I compare it to? It's not much. It's not the lowest I've seen from a cavity. It's probably a little bit more than T100 would be my.
Well, and this segues nice into Tony's question here, Ian. For someone who wants to bend the irons weak, how does that impact V? So remember, guys, when you weaken an iron, you reduce the offset, right? So you could weaken this iron a degree, maybe in some cases too, without significantly affecting the performance of the sole, and you'll slightly decrease the offset. You'll slightly improve the look if that's your preference. That would be my preference, definitely.
Absolutely.
Just to pull that pull that hosel more in line with the leading edge of the golf club. So I think that will be done quite a bit for some better players.
Would you do it for me right now?
Sure.
Would you throw like maybe 1.5?
Yep.
What do you think?
No problem.
Just so people can see. I mean, for me, that's spinning at 4,700, but I know that isn't the case for everybody. Show you guys a few numbers here. So that was the last one, a little bit of a shallow swing, so not a perfect example. So for someone that doesn't deliver a ton of loft the way I do, they are spinning a bit low at 28, but for, what would you say? The majority of people, they're gonna deliver too much loft. The 28 degrees is not exactly strong.
Yeah.
Just a little strong for yours truly. So Ian's bending that, what do you think, 29-ish, 29 and a half?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Certainly see where we're at, and we'll add at least 1.5 degrees.
Let's try that. Yeah, let's try that. Take some quick questions here if I can. How would you mix ZX7 and Z4s or ZX7 and ZX5? So the 5 and the 7 are a no-brainer.
Easy.
I would
say. Always probably, I would say Srixon have had that blend better than anyone in the industry.
Agree. Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, would that be your number one combo set maybe from last year? Yeah,
easy.
So number one combo set here was that last year. The Z Forge you could probably just pair with the 7s, unless maybe you get a couple of the 5s and the longer irons. Not impossible, but
what's that on the Forge?
If you had the Forge and like the short irons, but you'd have to adjust the lofts quite a bit, I would think. Or are they not? Are the Z Forge not as?
They're not super weak.
Gotcha. Z Blade will carry over to 2021. Yep, I think that's right. Will there be a Z9 Forge? I don't know. We're using the X7 Dynamic Gold in the shots I was just hitting because that's the shaft I use. But we can certainly hit a few with a different one later if you guys want. How bendable are they, Ian?
Ridiculously soft.
Ridiculously soft. You heard it here first. No
soft
surprise.
as a baby's bum.
Soft as a baby. So you'd know. As the proud owner of a baby, you would know.
The proud owner.
The proud owner.
Okay. Oh boy.
Let's try these.
All right, see how that looks to you. I think you will actually have quite a different visual experience.
Oh, so much better.
Different, eh?
Yeah. Just took that offset out.
Took that offset out for Matty boy, and
Very pleasing.
aye. All right, let's have a wee look at a few of
gander.
these.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being totally honest, the top line's a little bit of a bummer on this. I kind of thought it would be a little more beveled at the back. That will be the only sticking point, I think, from a looks perspective, because everything else about it is really, really nice. The lines are good. I think it's a great looking iron. I do think some people may look at the top line and go, but then they have the blade for that category, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right, more Loft. Well, I towed the crap out of that and it still had more spin. So that's a good sign. Now we're talking.
And guys, there probably is a great example of this iron, right? So we've added just actually over 2 degrees of loft there. So it's now at 30.
Nice.
It's a little bit flat. Look where the ball speed has went nowhere.
No, it hasn't.
So
And honestly,
you've retained all that ball speed.
I clanked that. Let me get one flush for you. Much better strike. Now we got spin 5200. We're back in the good range for spin.
Do you want to grab, what's you got there?
These are just Pro Vs.
Pro Vs.
Yeah. I could hit some X's though if you want.
Wouldn't mind seeing a wee bit of a spinnier ball.
If you got a Pro V1X in your drawer there, I think I'll hit a couple with that. Yeah, let me grab one of those. There's that guy there, that Ford. An X.
That's an XA.
Smashing. Good.
Interesting. So, guys, you know my love for a golf ball change. So, Matty is hitting. He was hitting Pro V1 there.
Yeah, I call Pro V1 around 51, 5200 on a
Got
good
it.
strike.
Yep.
Let's see what happens with the old X.
Okay.
You know my love for a golf ball.
I do. I love
We
a
do.
golf ball. Lots of turf questions here, guys. We will definitely get into that.
Different sound too.
Pro V1X.
That
Where
one-
did that take you to?
So that was just 5, but it was a little sweepy.
Okay.
We're already up 600 RPMs from where we were before though, with the loft and the ball.
Mhm.
So I'll get a little bit more down on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, 55, 50, so you can definitely spin it properly with the right ball. Nothing wrong with that.
So catch this one, Matty boy. Matty boy. So this is a little change.
I'm not even looking.
Little change in golf ball. Are they clicky at all? Chris, anything but clicky.
No.
Far from clicky.
Especially with that Pro V1 there. Buttery soft.
Yeah.
What is that, an AVX?
Also buttery soft.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good with an AVX.
I bet it does. Sounded great.
Oh! There you go. So over 1,000 RPMs between Pro V1X.
Yeah. So guys, just the little moral of that story, and you all pay attention to us enough that we really feel like the ball is the biggest thing that influences spin in this scenario. So if you are the high spin player and you're looking at these irons and licking your chops, know that an iron will do some, a ball will do some, combined they'll do a lot. That's always what we're.
That was the golf ball there.
42.96 on the spin there, when your previous one with the Pro V1X was 55.
Yeah, crazy.
Right, it's a significant amount, a really significant amount.
Okay, back to Pro V1X.
Yeah.
I'll start talking about feel a little bit here.
Yeah, feel and sort of, are you getting sort of different sensations through the turf?
Okay.
We do have.
I should hit a couple
I
with
think we have a 785 kicking about.
Yeah, I can grab that.
Pretty sure I have one somewhere. I wouldn't expect turf interaction to be too crazy different from 785.
No,
Matty.
it would just be very subtle. What I was thinking is these notches here
Yeah.
probably be nice in the rough
In the rough.
and
if
tight
you-
lies so you don't get stuck on the ground.
Yeah,
kind of
and also think about, ball above your feet, ball below
Oh,
your
yeah.
feet.
point.
The player who has issues with the handle, so excessive downward deflection of the shaft or handle raising.
Yes, makes sense.
Yep.
That one was fat, for argument's sake, if you want to look at that shot.
Mm-hmm.
I kept a lot of ball speed and spin on
Lot of ball
that for a
speed.
fat shot. So,
Definitely. Yeah, guys, lots of you are asking about the lofts. The lofts are exactly the same as they've been from Srixon for 6 years. Yeah. So they have not changed ever since. So the 5s are 1 degree stronger than the 7s, and the 7s are 2 degrees stronger than kind of modern tour lofts, if you like. Guys, lots of questions just coming in golf ball. We're not going to go there with golf balls just yet, but we're going to focus a little bit more on just the Srixon irons. You want to change into the 5s?
Yeah. So that was really nice. I like those.
So your only thought on that on the net, everything kind of positive, other than for you it's a shade thick on the top line.
Yeah, that would be my one criticism. I also love them at that loft that you bent them to.
Yeah.
But that's purely a fitting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't dismiss them. If you go hit your first few shots the way I did and they're spinning low or something, they were curving a bit or whatever the issue is, just make sure you're doing it somewhere that can bend the loft for you, because since you did that, it's night and day. Night and day different.
Mm-hmm.
Those flight, that last one, where's that?
How would you compare it to like I mean, so if you look at the sort of shaping of that, right? So you've got a 921 forged. I know you've not seen that too much of that because it's.
We haven't hit these in a while, have we? So I'm gonna give this to Luke in 2 seconds. So 921 forged, I think the effective sole looks bigger, obviously. Although they've done a good job at the back end smoothing that out too.
Yeah.
The blade length is longer. Top line similar, although Mizuno's is a bit more rounded. That's what I'm noticing.
Yeah.
So I think Mizuno blunted their top line more.
Yeah.
Here and here. So
I really
I'm gonna
like.
hand these over to Luke so we can get some close-ups.
So when I looked at
These two, buddy.
is that right hand?
Which one do you want?
Is that TC201 still kicking about?
TC201.
To be honest, to me,
Here?
Matty,
Yep.
the ZX7 looks like a slightly thicker top line mirror to me.
Yes.
I think those
It's very square,
very
right?
similar.
Yeah, that's a good call. So Ian's talking about his beloveds here. Top line's similar, although thinner on this Miura, but very square in shape also. I'm gonna flip over to Luke here.
And I think there's a lot of people out there who are just a little bit wary of playing a Miura just for the head size.
Yeah, this is a bit more
and
friendly.
for that reason, they will probably fall in love with the head in the Srixon.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just gonna put these two down here side by side so people can see the soles. I mean, in width, they're not that different in width. It's definitely narrower on the Srixon, but it's not by a ton. Not by a ton. Very similar shape, actually, when you think about it. You look at them, they're actually not that dissimilar.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out together how they compare on flight. I suspect they'll be at least as soft, though, the Srixons. They felt very soft. Little advantage with them being one piece, too, I would assume.
Tighten.
Is that a factor that the forged are a little more techy than the Srixons are basically just one piece, that X7?
Yeah,
You'd
I
feel
would,
that,
I would
right?
say so. Yeah, I would definitely say so. And the 921 forged were the forged chromoly as well, so slightly different.
All right, so this is the 5.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll have these. This is at 28, yeah? Where'd you bend
20,
that to?
no, I just added
perfect.
28 and a half. I just
Beautiful.
weakened it ever so slightly.
So a little bit stronger than what I normally play. It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's a really good blended set because these are not that much different looking.
Not too different at all, eh?
It's a little longer in blade length, a little bit more offset, and a little bit bigger top line. But they would match up quite well. I think you'd have to really look closely to notice. If you say you switched at the 8 iron or the 7 iron, I think you'd be pretty happy with that.
Blair's asking, he's currently playing the Z forged irons and loves them. Phenomenal blade, really phenomenal blade. When will Srixon be introducing a new blade to the lineup? Typically, Blair, that will be maybe later in the year, or it might be next year.
Seems more likely, doesn't
they
it?
don't release those as frequently.
Let's first swing with the 5. You can hear the difference. It's a little bit techier sounding.
Flies 205. So, tell you what, it retained quite a lot of spin there.
Wasn't bad, and that was sweepy, on the sweepy side.
More 500 RPM more spin than the AVX golf ball with a club 2 degrees weaker.
Correct. That's a great call.
So guys, again, back to you know, when we're starting to nudge numbers around here, look at that ball speed jump, 136.
And it feels like it too.
Let's have a little look at there. The apex on that one, that's got to have gotten to 120 feet, 114 feet.
Oh wow, yeah, good call.
So nice and high, so a bit higher than Matty's average.
You could hit these really far. I mean, these are pretty smooth to start our morning here.
Yeah, and that's why people obviously have them in the longs, isn't it? Because you
Get
know,
some extra
where you
yards.
start to lose a little of that velocity, that key ingredient for height. Jordan Matt is using a True Temper X7, which is his iron of choice.
I'm gonna hit this one harder and less in doubt.
Okay.
Yeah, they're nice for the turf.
That's the par 5 destroyer right there.
Yeah,
The
Flight that up.
204-yard high cut 6 iron.
that's really nice. I actually didn't swing any faster. I thought I was going to, but
That one sounded
That's
really
better.
good.
Yeah.
Look at the height in that.
it's quite amazing how high you can hit that. That's a lot of distance for
Yeah.
not going at it all that. Like 98 is very comfortable.
We've been talking
6
a
iron.
lot on the channel recently about consistency. I really think we were speaking about it when we were reviewing the TSI woods,
Yeah.
fairway woods and drivers, and kind of, you know, it's a term that was really born. You know, Callaway kind of had their own, so they call it spin robustness.
That's
so
right. That was on the
idea
woods. We talked about that.
of retaining similar characteristics. And looking at those last few, I mean, look what you've done to the height in those last 3. Stop. 114, 124,
Oh, wow.
136.
I feel like I could hit that 150 feet in the air if you really wanted to. You could just keep, because there's so much speed. It's got a decent amount of spin on it.
Guys, from Brett Fletcher himself, Srixon employee, we will not see a Z-Blade replacement until 2022.
Perfect.
Great news. I actually think that's great news.
Yeah, they don't need to go.
That
do they?
Z-Forged was so good, and I love when an iron is that good that it takes longer to replace it.
I agree,
You
yeah.
don't just replace it to replace
Just
it. So that's great news.
This is the ZX5 here, guys, on the close-up camera. Luke's showing you the sole. They are really, like, in terms of a combo set, they've done a hell of a job here. Like those 2 irons sitting in a golf bag,
Yeah.
those are 2 different models of irons. I mean, it's hard to tell.
It's really hard
It's
to tell.
very hard. And
Yeah.
I think that's what people want the most is that,
Without
yes,
doubt.
you have a bit of help, but
Yeah.
you can't tell.
Well, that's what I kind of mentioned. You know, it's almost like Srixon really
Everybody.
design them to coexist
Yeah,
and really design them to be you know, as much part of one set as part of the other.
Very true.
Which is really, really good.
Let's do a couple more with these. Maybe we'll chat feel, and then
Okay.
we can take some more requests if you want.
Love it. And then we'll hit a few requests here to hit it next to a JPX 921 SEL.
Sure.
We can do that. That's it, boy. I thought I would click back itself.
That's okay. So the monitor picked that up. I actually hit that a bit fat, but I still had 134 ball speed. So I lost 2 or 3 miles an hour on that fat one, which is
Ace is asking how the
Forgiving.
top lines compare to your eye, Matty. Do
They're
you
ve-
see
they're
much
actually-
of a transition?
no, they're
It's
pretty.
marginal, isn't it?
They're pretty
It's-
damn similar.
You need to have a really keen eye, Ace, to pick up on that.
You would notice the offset more than anything, but I don't think even that is all that pronounced. It's just a little bit more offset.
Yeah.
That's the one. This
What is that you're hitting? Is that still the 5?
Yeah, I would. I'd
is
love a
insane.
3 iron and a 4 iron of this. Like I'm not even having to hit them very hard.
So
It's amazing.
that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Like 98 miles an hour. Like efficiency wise, 1.37 is usually the 6 iron, right?
Yeah, I mean, guys, that's the thing here. So the efficiency on this is bent right now to 28.
28.
28 is really pretty standard by
Absolutely.
modern day terms. If we think of like a P790, 26 and a half.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
true.
a 770 is coming in at 29 right now. So you're playing
right.
that. You're playing that. You know, 1 degree weak. But I mean, why would you ever want to? You wouldn't ever want to play that weaker. I mean, look what the height's. Look where the height's at.
Well, it's such a good point because you can play them not too strong, but the amount of height you can get out of the ball without really much effort.
124 feet.
Okay, I'm going to hit this one 150. This is going 150 feet in the air, just so we can say we did it.
As it climbs like a jumbo jet.
It's actually even faster. I swung a bit harder.
That's
Okay,
wild.
be 150. Come on.
But do you think it got there?
I think so.
Oh,
Yes!
159.
With room to spare. No, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
like
it's
how
crazy.
easy that is to hit the ball high.
I mean, how many people are out there going, yeah, I never hit my long irons high. I just don't. And I think the reality is the nature of the design characteristics of the ZX7 is you're not going to have that option as readily available with the 7. It's just not designed with that two-piece head.
No. The amount of jump I'm feeling off that face. So one thing I would say is if you're kind of a P790 in the market for a P790, pardon me, I would test something like this instead because the feel and look I think are a little bit more traditional.
Yeah.
And performance-wise, I don't think they'd be crazy far apart. I think P790 is probably a bit faster and more forgiving, but this is awfully close from what I can tell so far.
Wesley's asking, what is the extra offset in the 5 doing over the 7 realistically? Offset, as a general rule, will make the ball go a little bit higher and will help the club close, have a little bit more time for closure. As a general rule, that's going to be the feature and benefit of offset. Whether you need that or not is obviously going to be personal and individual, but there really isn't an awful lot of it offset on that 5, and I think once a weekend that 7 for Matty as well. There was very, very little on that 7. So
for that category, that's not much offset at all.
No.
Am I blind? Or this is what you want me to hit. This guy?
Yes, there was a few requests for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. JPX 921 SEL.
Yeah, you got it there. Perfect.
Coming right up.
Couple of requests for some low bullets.
Don't tell me what to do.
He likes
Sure.
the high one.
We can hit some bullets. Well, yeah, sure. Let's do this first. For the Mizuno connoisseurs out there, so this is going to be a comparison to the 7, not the 5, obviously, because this SEL is the small cavity. This is the Tour, right? To remind myself that SEL means Tour. So I'm stuck with Pro V1X here. Let's just keep it consistent, All right. Looks-wise, I would say 921 Tour compared to ZX7. 921 Tour is a bigger head. It's longer. It is taller slightly, in the heel especially. It has probably the same amount of offset, and the top line is similar, but it's more rounded, so it appears a bit smaller.
This one. Okay.
The top line to me looks a bit smaller just because the ZX7 top line is very square. This one they've beveled the front end back.
And that was part of what I was thinking, to be honest, with we have a few obviously heads that we've got to use for tests and stuff like that. I may take one back with me and slightly angle that top edge a little bit.
That's a great idea. It would look great.
A millimetre and a half or so off there. Even a millimetre would make a difference to that, and just slightly change that. It wouldn't be much of a weight loss.
That's cool. A little custom work on it.
See. Yeah.
Maybe get a TXG stamp on there while you're at it. From the old custom shop. Okay. That's nice. Very, very similar.
I missed that one there.
That's
so
okay.
Where was that? So really interesting. So that was the SEL. So spin hasn't shot through the roof for you at all there.
No. Slightly heavy, but not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's a good feel, these. It's a little bit more, I would say the sound is a bit lower pitch.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it a bit more muted and kind of traditional than the 7. They're both very, very nice though. To be honest with you, the 7 might be a bit softer. The 7's a little bit softer, but someone may prefer the feel of this because it's a bit more kind of low and muted. Yeah, this is also very good.
Also nice.
I don't think numbers-wise you're going to see any difference. 7 to 921 forged. I think it's going to come down to feel and looks for you.
That was a nice strike there.
Yeah, so there's plenty of speed. I mean, obviously starting to swing a bit faster, but there's plenty of ball speed in these. It's not obviously as jumpy as the 5 is, but if you're comparing that to the 7, I think you're in the same category. But
another nice set. Obviously, SEL as a combo set as well. Something that combos into
take this off first.
To the forged.
This would be perfect in the forged. Yeah, I think that's what people are looking. It's going to be a ZX5, ZX7 combo set, or it's a 921, you know, forged and tour combo set, or it's a a T100 combo set. These are the hot items. There we go. I'm going to put this SEL up on the screen for people to take a little gander. There they are. X7 here. SEL on the left side of the screen. Similar shape, eh?
Yes. Yeah, very similar shape.
Go ahead. Question?
Pop in something a little bit. Do me a favor. Pop in like a 95 gram steel fiber into that 5.
90 gram steel fiber.
95 steel fibers. Stiff is fine. 37.5. And then pop it in the ZX5, and just for the slightly slower swingers out there, just to kind of see something a little different.
Hit some smoothies.
Yes.
Okay.
Some like the little kind of 84s.
Okay. I-95, 37.5.
That'll be good. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, let's do some average. So 84 mile an hour swing speed, hitting at about 170, is that? 175?
Yeah, about that would be nice. And guys, we are going to segue once we've kind of done a little more testing on this stuff. We're going to segue into our usual Q&A. So anyone who has kind of general questions,
we'll probably restart the stream.
We will restart the stream, so this one uploads in a separate
Just so people can reference this, and once we're done, and then we'll restart.
Smashing.
Okay. Let me get a couple of this guy. So this is the 5. It's got a steel fiber I-95 graphite shaft, standard length. You want to move that green for me if you don't mind?
Yeah, I will.
Talk 75. Try to make
Sean is got a pretty
swings.
good point. You know, there are so many good products in the market right now. You know, it feels like every time we review a new iron these days, it's like, wow, these are really impressing us. There's something really to talk about here. And
Callaway's new ones were great.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Callaway's new CB and MB were great.
Yeah, the Cobra Mim irons we
were awesome too.
Enjoyed those as well, and
it's very true.
Yeah,
spoiled for choice these days. Okay, so I'll try to maybe deliver a little bit more loft on this too. What kind of 6-iron delivered loft do you see from an average player?
24, 25.
So let's get a little bit up of that.
Yeah. So if you go down to 84 in your speed. Keep it as shallow as you are, maybe slightly neutralize your path in order just to retain a little more loft. You should be golden. Just let those angles come out.
It's a little soft, but we're on the right track.
Really far away.
It's 84. It's close.
So guys, we're trying to generate some numbers right now from the ZX5 with the steel fiber 95. That's lovely. That is so nice.
That's a great looking flight, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
87 miles an hour, tons of ball speed, launch, spin. How high of a shot? I'm really curious of what the peak height, because that's...
So this will be fun.
Looks like you get a lot of height on the ball. 100 feet on that shot is no joke.
That's a lot, eh? That is a lot.
This swing speed range, I don't see why you wouldn't want to play this kind of 7-iron down or something like that.
Look at that. Nice.
It's just so nice. Very, very easy to...
It sounds like these are really jumping off the face.
I'll add one thing. It feels even better at a slower speed. I'm noticing.
A bit of an interesting
it's weird, right?
Takeaway.
So the techie kind of click feel, which is very minimal at my speed, to be honest with you, but at a lower speed, it's even less noticeable. These are starting to feel more like the 7s now that I'm making a bit slower of a swing. I'm not sure why that is, but that's how it feels to me. very consistent. They've all been about high 4,000 spin,
Yep.
all around 119, 120 miles an hour. This is a good setup. The little steel fiber in here. Feels very easy to swing.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a nice little combo.
So I'm noticing with the shaft that it feels light, but it's it doesn't feel soft at all. I'm not feeling it like flexing around. It's quite stable.
Have you hit steel fiber before?
Probably not,
I don't
Probably
think we've asked you to hit steel fiber in the past.
because I don't think we have any of the super high weights, so I probably never tried it. Okay, does that give you the little average you want?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That is awesome.
I'm impressed with those. That's the steel fiber. If anyone wants to
Steel
see.
fiber is generally an upgrade, yes, with most companies.
They-
I don't know if there's anyone offering them for free. They're normally an
There
upgrade.
it is.
There
Steel
she
fiber,
is.
Aerotech I-95. Smashing. Beauty. Okay. What else can we do? Have we covered what we wanted to cover?
Yeah, anything, guys, anything else? I mean, we have our deep technical review coming up that we will do. We're going to hit it next to
Yeah, last year's.
785s, and we'll dive into that sort of stuff. We wanted to more just get into a little bit of an initial impression with you guys right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, initial impression for me is that I'm quite impressed with them. It's a great lineup so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Some questions on I've seen that one actually come in a few times. P7MC.
Sure. Why don't we pick one more?
Sure.
Why don't we hit a couple
Yeah,
of those?
you got that one.
Well, let's take a quick poll though. P7MC or the Callaway X-Forge CB? Personally, I think that's a better comparison. I think these are way smaller and more of a player's iron in the
Yeah.
P7MC. Not a detraction. I just don't think it's aimed at the same people.
Yeah.
I think you guys will want to see that, but let me know.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Let us know what you think.
Agreed. Look, if you get the utility iron, can you grab that from my office? We have the utility iron in there as well. I know there's a couple of people asking about that one. That's
Oh, right. Yeah, let's
that
show.
one is definitely
That's a beauty, that thing.
going to be hit today
It's
as
on the
well.
desk, Luke, there, I think.
Yeah, looks great. I think
Beauty.
always really liked the utility iron,
Gorgeous.
but this one is the best one they've ever made,
Easily.
without a doubt. It's a little bit smaller and compact. The other one had a really wide sole, which was, in terms of when you hit it, was super functional, and it was amazing. It was really explosive. But
Give
the
you a
new
little sneak
one
peek here.
is-
Oh, baby.
It's a little more refined.
Yeah,
at
the
that.
sole is much more narrow than it used to
Yeah.
be. It is a little more compact,
Mm-hmm.
front to back. Still, or it is hollow. It was hollow before,
It is
but
still
they've just
hollow,
really
yeah,
refined the amount of
Mhm.
real estate this has,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, the
back
U65 was nice, but I mean, trust me, this
This
is
is nicer.
This is nicer. This is the nicest one.
Believe
they've
us
ever
when
made.
we tell you this is
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah.
I'll try to give you a little address view. Pardon my hands. It's not much offset on this. This
It's
is
pretty
gorgeous.
good, eh?
This might be the one I'm looking forward to trying the most.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we get any answers about the Callaway? If you want to see a couple Callaways to finish.
See, there was a lot of MC. I would just go with
Sure,
MC.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
What do I know anyway? Not P770.
There's a lot. In fact, tell a lie. There's a bunch of Callaways just came in. X4, Callaway for show.
I'll hit
Callaway
two with
versus.
both, and then we'll wrap up. How's
There
that?
you go.
Let's please everyone.
He's a people pleaser.
We are.
All right.
Did I put that shaft away? Same shaft, or do you want me to hit it like the?
Let's hit a Modus 120 stiff,
Great
since
idea.
that's the stock shaft.
Great idea.
Let's do a wee Modus in there.
Hello, Modus. 120 stiff. Where are you? Show yourself.
We are going to test the ZX Utility, just not on this stream, but we'll be hitting it today, and that will be a video that you will see that at some point this week for sure. A lot of Callaway requests coming in now.
Okay, I'm building it as we speak.
Beautiful.
Modus. So Modus is the stock shaft.
Yes.
It's a good stock shaft, eh?
Yeah.
Value wise.
Covers so many people. That 114 grams, easy to load, just really suits an awful lot of people. Any chance you will be opening a store in LA? Not anytime soon. There's some good options in LA.
Yeah, Los
True
Angeles
spec.
proper would be busier
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah,
eh?
it would be busy. True Spec are in LA. UGP are also in LA.
Oh, right.
So they have a few different stores. I think even the LA crew, if you went down to Matt Mora down at the Irvine store, is somewhere to go for sure.
Okay, so this is Callaway's X-Forge CB.
X-Forge.
Looks department
Yep.
is the following. Sole width, quite a bit more narrow.
Yep.
Address position, it looks like a cross between 921 and ZX5. So it is kind of tall and long, like 921. It's got a little bit more offset than either of those. And the top line looks pretty much like 921's. A bit bigger, but rounded off, so it's nice. Normal speed, this one, or
Dialed back.
try to hit that 170 again?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go 180. Yeah, let's go
80-ish?
180.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Jack makes a brilliant point on the price point on the ZX range, on how much cheaper it is than some of the other ones in the market. I mean, that's...
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
As irons have increased significantly recently.
Yeah, they're not cheap anymore. They never were, but
these are definitely better value. Chippy smoothies.
this is a nice feel on this Callaway. I would say my start lines are maybe a little bit more to the right with the touch more offset, but we're talking about splitting hairs here. Launch, spin, and everything are so similar. Ball speed's still good. Still keeping the spin for the most part above 45, 4600. Yeah. Pretty similar flight. They're going to be less forgiving than the 5s, obviously, but I would say compared to the 7s specifically, it's going to be mostly a looks deal again. Feel-wise, they're actually quite similar. I just think that this is a bigger profile iron, the CB.
Yeah. I think in any fit, somebody who comes in and gets fit to a 7 will end up hitting that X-Forged.
Agree.
And like a 921 forged.
I think 921 4s
inevitable.
and this Callaway are the most similar at address.
Yep.
They look very similar. Okay, a couple quick ones with the MC.
Yeah.
Imagine this is a very different conversation though, but
Rochi's jumping in on our utility video, which we're not doing
Rochi?
till later, Rochi. So I'm not getting into technical aspects of this yet, but there is a little tungsten, as Rochi rightly talks about, to the rear of the utility iron, bringing that CG a little bit deeper, bringing it further away from the face. So we do see a little more dynamic loft. We will see a little additional longe. You know, as the head profile has shrunk ever so slightly, that sole profile has been slightly narrowed in order to get the best of both worlds, because you want the visual.
yes.
You know, you want the looks, you want it to be pleasing, but you also need the performance and the functionality. So, you know, adding that portion into the rear
very smart.
Is going to really help with that.
I've definitely got my eye on that, and we've got Callaway's new driving iron coming. Sent a message to our pal Dave, and he's sending a couple of those. I think those two for me may be in the conversation. Titleist U500 will be in the conversation too for the spring. Okay, TaylorMade P7 MC is very similar actually in address appearance to ZX7, but it's got less offset and it has a smaller top line.
Yeah. It is I mean,
very
you can't-
playersy.
I suppose you can't really call it more of a player's iron, because if a ZX7, sorry, is going to be played by a PGA Tour player, which it will be. We've already seen sets in play.
Yep.
That's also a player. It's just a preference, isn't it?
It is a preference. It's just on a spectrum of players' clubs, isn't it? Like this is just a little bit more on the small side.
When I look at a ZX7, I think you have some serious horsepower.
Oh yeah, you can hit
It
that
really
thing miles.
looks like it's kind of like compact, and that kind of top line just looks like it's got some serious meat behind it.
I agree.
Whereas I don't get that sense with the P7 MC.
Well, I think if someone's looking for a little bit more pop on the irons, then that's why you would go look at the Srixons. This is more if you're just trying to keep your distances the same, I guess. Nice. Certainly not slow, the old E7MC.
Nope. Sean's got a good question. Any concerns with VSOL for shallow AOA? Sean, shallow AOA comes in many different forms. It all comes down to how the player manages their low point and their swing. If you are unable to control low point and your club enters the ground early, yes, there would be concerns with VSOL on that one versus pre-worn leading edge. Yeah. But I think that comes down to more of a flaw in the delivery of the player.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're not going to ask clubs to fix everything. No. And if you're dumping the leading edge into the ground prior to the ball, your issue is dumping the leading edge into the ground prior to the ball. It's not you're using the wrong head.
No, and I scuffed a fair amount with those, and they were fine.
Yeah,
they were fine.
I was really conscious of watching that ball speed for you. Yeah. And you were fluctuating 131 to 134 until you started hitting cuts where you spiked up to 138.
Yeah. And they didn't drop off severely when I kind of scraped it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I don't want to keep repeating myself. A lot of these shots we're hitting, the flights, the ball speeds, the spins, the launch angles are going to be very similar.
Yeah.
It's feel, preference, looks at address. This is basically a blade, this piece of an MC. If anyone wants to remember what this sexy beast looks like, it's basically a blade with a cavity at the back. So it's not super forgiving, but it's not, I mean, I could play with that just fine. I may not want a 3 and 4 end of that, but it's a very versatile club.
Great question by Raul there. Would you guys ever at TXG use a grinder to alter the sole iron of sets for customers? You know, I liken that to, you know, what sort of Cleveland have in their hang ground system. We almost don't need to anymore. A few years back, we really needed to do that sort of stuff. Nowadays, if you don't have it from one, you'll take it from another. There would be more of a need to do that if we didn't offer, if we were a single brand.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right, we offer every brand, or all the best brands. So the options in the drawer. I mean, if
you have 400 different sole designs in here.
Yeah, if you can't get what you need from every head that we have in the drawer, then
so true.
You know, either we're not doing our job right, or we're probably sending you away for a lesson.
Yeah, that's very fair,
isn't it?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So do you want to zip off this? We can start a new one and do a little bit of Q&A if we're happy. I think that was great.
Let's do that,
Hopefully we gave you guys a nice rundown of them.
Hang fire. Time for you guys. We'll chat a little Masters. We'll chat whatever you guys have got going on in your own games. We'll get selfish with that. So we will jump off this one and join us again on the Q&A in about 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Go to the channel homepage. You'll see us in a couple minutes.
Awesome.
See you there.
Okay, guys.